Yeah, we got a chance to, John and I anyway, got a chance to listen to you talk a little bit last night. So we kind of got a little insight there. But as far as when no, I'm sorry, I'm losing track here. I saw Mike leave again. So, but in relationship to the vendors, where hold on just a second. Mike's messed me all up.
No worries, no worries. The vendors right now, we have a ton of them coming to us and saying, how do I get involved and what do I have to do? And right now the answer is don't call us, we'll call you because once we actually survey the dealers and find out what they want us to work on, at the same time, we'll ask them, okay, like I said before, we're going to focus on product A. We're going to ask them who they use and what they like and dislike about them. And what we've already learned, part of our sign-up process is you tell us who you're using for certain things. We're already finding vendors that I've never heard of, and I've been in the business for 16 years. So the dealers that are using particular products that they might have had developed themselves or just happen to be part of a test group in a different market that, a vendor might only have 10 or 20 dealers. We're going to be able to find those guys and go, talk to them as well as talking to the big guys that everyone's familiar with. So it's really going to give us a perspective from small to big and really help us understand and therefore help Dealers United dealers understand the marketplace as it pertains to each individual product.
So a small vendor could turn out to be a big winner in this scenario. I mean, it could happen, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, one thing we have to be absolutely careful about is the power of Dealers United could absolutely overwhelm a small vendor. So we have what we call our emerging vendor program. And the way that that will work is if we find someone that only has 5 or 10 dealers, they're not going to be ready to handle 300 dealers. At home, that there was one time when we basically had to triple our dealer base overnight. It actually took an entire weekend, and it wasn't healthy. And it wasn't. It was a situation where someone found out they were going to migrate to us, and they just shut them off. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Now what do we do?" So we had to get them set up, and it just wasn't a healthy situation. So I certainly, coming with that experience, am not going to let a vendor with 5 or 10 dealers get 300 or 500 new dealers overnight. So what we'll do is we'll put them into our emerging vendor market. We'll do one-off deals, explain this new vendor to the dealers, explain, interview all of their 5 or 10 customers, understand who they are and what they have to offer, and then limit or cap the number of dealers that can be part of this vendor, and we'll help them grow. So the first one, we might only allow them 10 or 20 of our customers, and it's the first 10 or 20 that sign up get it. But then after a few months that those people are happy and that vendor's had a chance to grow, then we might allow 30 or 40 to be part of the next one. So we help that vendor grow. But what's nice about helping them grow and helping, the Dealers United dealers, allowing that vendor to grow into our network is that vendor never then has to hire a sales and marketing department, saving them tons of money. I mean, 50% of some of these companies' employees just go to sales and marketing. So if that overhead can always stay low for that vendor, then the Dealer United dealers are going to win because their costs are always going to remain.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're exactly right. Now, what about, I remembered what I was going to say before. As far as, yeah, Mike kept bouncing out on me, so he got me all flustered. But anyway, the vendors, when you sign a contract with a vendor, how long is that going to be good for the dealers? I mean, is that good forever or is it good for 30 days? What's the time to jump on board?
They have to jump on board within that month. At the end of the month, we're going to allow the videos to remain there for our vendor or our dealers to continue to watch them, but the deal is going to come off. And that's important for a couple of reasons. One, vendors don't want to have a perpetual deal out there where 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 deals can trickle in at a significantly reduced price. It undermines their retail price, first of all, and second of all, I mean, the way that deal works is that they're getting a large number of dealers agreeing at one time to sign up for their product. Now, we do have kind of a phased approach because if you have 300 new websites one day as a vendor, you can't set those up and you're going to upset a lot of dealers. So we kind of stagger that throughout the year. And that actually solves another problem where some dealers might be in a contract that doesn't end for 6 or 8 months. So they can't sign up for a new website right away. But they have to sign up for the deal and pay their initial deposit, which usually covers their first or second month of that service, right away. And the whole idea there is that the deal gets done from start to finish within 1 month.
And Dealers United is going to facilitate all that. They're going to handle all that.
Absolutely. We handle the sign-up process. We facilitate the handoff with our dealers to the vendor, and then we're always there for Tier 2 support. So we have our dealers back. If you need something changed on your website or your search engine optimization or whatever product we're talking about, you call the vendor. If they don't respond, then you call us, and we'll get on the vendor and make sure that they do respond. Because, again, having that experience being a vendor, having that experience reselling other vendor products and working with other vendors, that's one thing I feel is a core competency that we'll have our dealers back if the vendors aren't performing to the terms and conditions and the service level agreement that we negotiate up front.
And the vendors are understanding of that as well, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So what type of, does anybody else have any questions before I keep blasting them?
Is this where we start the hot seat? Because last week we talked about just going into a really like way off the cuff hot seat to put them. Is this we're gonna start that tonight with Jesse, or we're gonna wait till the next time?
I don't think we'll start it tonight with
I love the
Jesse.
hot seat, man. Throw it at me. Give me all you got. You know, I'm a very transparent person. Anyone that's ever worked for me, anyone that's done business with my previous company, they know that I'll be the first to admit that I don't know something. I'll be the first to admit when I'm wrong, but I'll be the first to take a shot in the dark, too. I'm a very transparent person. So.
Good deal.
That was kind
So
of
what
an
kind
inside
of
thing right there. Sorry.
What kind of questions have you gotten from, I'm sure you're getting a lot of phone calls, and obviously you guys are talking with a lot of dealers. What kind of questions are you guys getting from the dealers about Dealers United, and what kind of, are there any reservations? What are some of the questions? I know Brian Pash put a bunch of good questions for you out there on Dealer Elite, and you did a very good job answering those. But any other questions from like the dealer body? I know what the vendors are asking for.
Yeah, well, the vendors have the best questions, and some of them are nervous and some of them are excited, and rightfully so in either case. Actually,
Sure.
you know, when we sat down and laid out the business plan for Dealers United, we thought we answered all the questions we could possibly be asked. And then the dealers found out about it, and as they started signing up, we started getting some really good questions that made us think. And we haven't, in probably the last few weeks, gotten any new questions that we hadn't solved in that initial soft launch. But we've gotten some great questions. I actually received a question that we hadn't heard before when I was in Lexington last night. And a dealer from Oregon asked me, she says, what about dealerships that are in different metropolitan areas? So if you have a dealer in New York City, they might need a product that works a certain way versus a dealer that's in Portland, Oregon, or you know, a suburb of that even. And we never really thought about that. So certainly we'll keep that in mind as we vet out different vendors and their products. Had a dealer from Canada ask, do we do deals in Canada? The answer there is some deals. Some deals will work nationally, and some deals are structured for the U.S. Just depends on the product that the vendor's offering. Really, the dealers are excited about it. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, and it's because there's no commitment. I mean, at the end of the day, you might already have a particular product from a vendor and be able to buy the same exact thing for 50% and just lower your cost on something you already have. There's absolutely no commitment until you say, yeah, I want to be a part of that deal. And even then, we're going to do our best. We can't always, but we're going to do our best to negotiate month-to-month contracts with, you know, zero security deposits. So dealers can jump into something, try it out, and decide that, well, that's a great idea, and it seems to be working for a lot of people, but it's just not for me. You know, there's really no commitment. And one of my things with any vendor is if they're going to lock you in unless they have a really good reason for doing so, maybe there's a lot of upfront costs or something like that they want to absorb and they need to lock you in. But if they're going to lock you in on a product on an annual basis for 2 That doesn't say a lot about that vendor's confidence and their ability to keep you as a happy customer, as opposed to keep you against your will. There's a DMS system out there that is notorious for locking dealers into 5, 10, 15, 20-year contracts. And I don't know one dealer that's with that particular DMS company and is happy about it. So
Yeah, and it's 10 grand a month or better. So
more, exactly,
Yeah.
$1,000 a month for every printer you have. So
And it goes with the next. It goes with the next buyer. in that
any
dealership.
vendor, yeah, any vendor that has more attorneys than customer service people is not going to be one that we're going to recommend to our Dealers United dealers. So.
that's good. Yeah, I'm a big believer in the month to month. I don't think that, I know with my company, we don't have a single service out there where we make a vendor or make a dealer, or we work with dealers and vendors, or make vendors sign contracts, because if you can't deliver, if you're delivering on the service, you should have no issues. There should be no issues out there. So, you're going to keep them, as long as you're delivering. There's going to be situations where people just need to get out, of a situation, or it's just not going to be a good fit. And those that are in contracts, it ends up costing them a lot of money. So I'm glad that you guys are looking into that and trying to keep the terms down, to a month to month, if not, at least under a year.
Absolutely. And, we'll probably even negotiate further with vendors that, you save 10% if you pay for a year up front. But even then, there can be an out clause where you get a prorated part of your money back. There's a definite cost being a vendor when you have to invoice and collect money on a monthly basis. So there's certainly value in giving discounts if you pay a year up front, but not necessarily be locked into that year. So if 6 months down the road, you decide to get out of that product, then you should be able to get a prorated portion of your money back, perhaps without that discount you initially saved by paying for a year up front. But at the very least, there's certainly a value for a vendor there, and even for a dealer to be able to pay up front and save a percentage. If we negotiate at 10% and your money sitting somewhere is only earning you 5%, well, it's a win for the dealer and it's a win for the vendor, because it's at least 10% to invoice the dealer and wait 45 or 60 days for your money to come in. So that's what we're looking for, is win-win-win. With our service, it's a win for the dealer not having to do the work, not having to negotiate the best price, and actually being able to have the buying power to get the best price. The win for the vendor without having that sales and marketing and commission expenses. And it's a win for us because, like I said before, as a travel agent, we're going to make sure you have a great vacation, and we get a small piece of the back end from the vendors, which is actually another big question from dealers. They say, how can we trust you if you're getting paid from the vendor? And the answer is like Visa. They're getting paid from every vendor. They don't care who you buy from as long as you use your Visa card. And that's kind of the way we're going to work. You're going to get a better price as a dealer than you could any other way, and you're going to get a better service, and you're going to have the support, the value add from Dealers United behind you, and we're going to get paid on the back end from it. And everyone seemed to be okay with that.
Cool. Well, how do you guys choose how many vendors go into the hat? I know that you said that there's going to be, you're going to poll the dealers, and the dealers are going to basically decide which solution that they need help with for the first one and ongoing. What do you do? Do you go out and see, say that there's 20 vendors that provide that solution? Obviously, you guys aren't going to go out and interview all 20 vendors.
Well, we're gonna do our best. I've been blessed in life with a nice quick plane that can get us around to all these things quickly, so we can pop from vendor to vendor to vendor. And if there's ever an instance that there's some vendor that's got 2 dealers or 5 dealers or 10 dealers, we probably won't go to them. But any vendor of consequence that can handle 300 or 400 or 500 new dealers at one time or over the course of another year, we'll absolutely make the trip, even if there's 20 of them. Even if we have to send out multiple crews, this is a first-class production. We're not cutting any corners here. And we've got a great production team on staff, and we're ready to scale that. It just so happens, being here in Sarasota, Florida, we are just down the street from the Ringling School of Art and Design, which, if you're not familiar with, is a world-renowned film and production school that does a lot of work for Hollywood. It does a lot of work. I mean, you walk through the halls of this school, and they have every single movie that you can imagine, and beneath that are all their students that worked on that movie. And it's amazing stuff, and that's where we're getting our talent from, and these kids are unbelievable.
Oh, wow, because it takes a lot just to get into that school, just to be accepted.
Yep.
When we were vacationing down there last year, it was incredible, the number of people that talked about it. We actually did not get to go to the museum because that was it was like the last day we were there. Everybody we ran into was talking about it, and they were just saying how hard it was to actually get accepted into that school.
No, it's a great school. I'm real. Actually, just earlier, so I'm kind of dressed up. We're at we're part of a group of folks supporting the school. We were just at an event with the president, and he's a good friend of mine. I know him well. I've known him for years, and he helps us get the best kids from the school to come do work with us. Our website, our logo, everything you see is a product of that school. Our first video. Now, the stuff you see when Christian, our communications director, is sitting here with a flip, and I'm doing a video for Dealers Unite or Dealer Elite, is not our production crew, but those are the quick and dirty and fun stuff. But the videos you'll see that are starting to come out, we'll have another one coming out in a week or so. That's all going to be, it's all from our production crew.
Nice. So first rate all the way.
Absolutely. It's the only way to do it.
Cool. Well, does anybody else have any more questions?